Milpitas Monster event. And here are some pictures from it. Here's the monster. And, yeah, so that wasn't Scott, actually. Anyway, here we have Marx Cards posing next to the monster, and me posing, chewing scenery next to the monster. Brah! Looking very frightened, but very happy somehow about the monster. And yeah, so... This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. And this is the camera that's dying. We're going to use it, what we were planning. And tonight's Milpitas Monster and coverage. And Marx Cards and I at the Great Mall. And we're going to film that. And this is the little leader for it. We're going to rush over there and then do that in a few hours. So this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. This is the penultimate episode. And we're going to check out Robert Burrell's classic movie, The Milpitas Monster. Alright, and I don't even know if I'm filming right now. Anyway. And here are the Milpitas Monster tickets for the penultimate episode of the Kal Kat show. And this is the new car with dealer plates on it, like in Fargo.
That's
but yes,
because I just bought it. I haven't even been home yet.
Petaluma.
Straight from the dealership to here. So, yeah, I found this yesterday. Now it's mine.
Ooh, last night or yeah?
Yesterday afternoon was when I discovered it, all the way up in Petaluma, which for me is quite a commute. But I decided to make it mine because it's even the right color.
Ooh, it's red.
So, yes, that was exactly the car I wanted.
So we are going to the mall.
Yep.
And we're gonna see what happens there.
Catch dinner in the show.
And I don't have any lighting. Okay. Century. There's the Milpitas Monster.
What you got?
The 39th anniversary.
You can see them better inside. It's a recreation of the costume. You can actually see him better in here.
So apparently there's a documentary screen.
Ooh. Which side is it on?
After 40 years, I finally get to see the movie.
You haven't seen it. Oh. Milpitas Monster. I'm not going to film the movie, don't worry. I just want to film the audience. Oh my goodness. What is that?
Yeah, I've got it right here in my hand. Right to the left. I'm hoping to grab one of those off you myself.
Hello, Mr. Rural. How are you?
Yeah, that's great. One of the DVDs.
He's 20. Want the program? Guess where we are? Marx Cards and Kal Kat are in front of City Hall, which has been revamped from the 2000s.
See, you can't fight City Hall. We're about to find out when I literally punch the side of the building.
No. No, he's kidding. Absurd, it's powerful. A year ago we filmed the opening of this. So are we actually shooting something?
I'm just filming some establishing stuff. All right, so here we are. Kal Kat and Marx Cards. standing
seeing the Milpitas Monster.
actually at the Milpitas City Hall, having just seen the Milpitas Monster special 39th anniversary screening, which in attendance were quite a few former and current politicians, which is appropriate because City Hall and
yeah, we were at the Milpitas Monster thing, and now we're in front of City Hall. Yeah, they had Mayor Estevez was there, and they had Pete McHugh, former mayor, was there and at the screening, and of course Robert Burrell, who was the director, was also there. Forum up there, just film ourselves. All thoughts on the Milpitas Monster movie? Plot, structure, and whatnot.
Well, for those not familiar with the film, one of the things that makes it really interesting is that it was made by high school students, essentially. The director, Robert Burrell, was a teacher at the time, teaching photography. So he got a bunch of his students together, and they decided to make a monster movie. And the gag being that, unlike, King Kong attacking New York or, Godzilla stomping Tokyo, let's set the movie where it's being made, which is here in Milpitas.
And appropriately, we have gone to the back of the community center near a garbage can, because garbage is a theme in the
very
story.
Appropriate, because that's kind of the joke. It was actually kind of a forward message for its time, that pollution was the culprit for the monster being born out of the muck of the bay, and has a compulsion not to eat people but garbage cans. So
and garbage.
People are more upset and annoyed than terrified that their garbage delivery is being disrupted. The people protesting in front of City Hall are just pissed off because they can't get garbage cans. So eventually, it becomes a full-fledged monster movie. There's a lot of long sequences involving the hijinks of the students, and there's this drunk bum who's sort of like the comic relief of the movie. But what's really impressive to me on seeing it on the big screen, which I had never done before, is that while it is tremendously low budget, it's also very ambitious. So they go out of their way to get all kinds of really elaborate shots of. They got helicopter footage of the foothills. They got footage of the inner workings of the garbage truck hub. They've got shots of the police helicopters taking off, and they get these people to actually play themselves in the movie. So there's a scene on a boat out in the bay with a science team, and they're presumably actual science students. And it's all filmed very cinematically. I mean, they can't do things like elaborate dolly shots and all of that stuff. So it looks, in a lot of ways, very low budget. But you can see there's a lot of heart and soul into what they were doing. They put a lot of effort into it, and it shows. It's a very enjoyable cornball sort of, throwback to the 50s atomic monster movies, except this time it's not atomic, it's garbage.
Garbage.
And also, I think seeing it here in Milpitas with an audience of people who get all of the local references, and the movie is chock full of stuff. If you're either from Milpitas or you're familiar with it, and they show you Old Calaveras Road or the lot out by what is now the Great Mall, you almost just want to burst into applause just from seeing it. It's awesome. So it was definitely the right audience to see it with. The director was in attendance, a lot of local politicians, and it was just a fun night out. And, afterwards, I was able to track down the director, who had a handful of DVD copies left to sell, and I was able to get the last one. So, score.
Yeah, and the monster knew me.
Yeah, yeah.
We still don't know who that is, though.
Yeah, and that was the thing. There was a full-on monster costume. Really good looking, actually. Looked very much like the one in the movie. Whoever was wearing the suit knew you, because he kept kind of breaking character a little bit, and he's like, hey. He's trying to talk to you. So that was awesome. And yes, I did take a selfie with the monster, because it's 2015 and it must be done. So anyway, that was pretty much my take on it, is that I think it's a very fun and affectionate little movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so there's something there. There's Calaveras right over there. Calaveras Road beyond the cars. So yeah, we're right here.
And that's a big part of the charm of the movie too. Is
recording,
not trying to be epic.
Probably in the dark there.
Actually, look fine.
This is very close to in the scene where the class clowns go out and go to the pumpkin patch, and they dig up to make a foot for the monster. It's right over there.
Oh yeah, it's part of a hoax. Because they don't believe it's a monster yet.
Yeah, so it's over there. Yeah. The building, this mall was built in 1980, and it's been renovated in the 2000s. But that was right out here in this field. This was a field. So yeah, so we're right where the footprint.
Yep.
Very close to it. Yeah. It's also funny that like they stuck in the director's cut these extra time lapses, which in Milpitas isn't that far, and to make it sound like a lot of time is going on, including a part when the monster goes to the school, the boyfriend goes across town from Olympic and Platte over to the city and back and whatever. And it's like, okay, I guess it was an added scene though. It was like
I think it was an outtake that they put back in.
It doesn't make sense because it would take him in old Milpitas in 1976 5 minutes to get to the school from there in a car. So with no traffic lights. So now it would take 15 minutes, but they've said in the movie like it was 40 minutes later. Wouldn't have been.
Although those super titles were added for the director's cut, as I recall. Originally, without those, it just looks like he's at the dance, he runs home, reads a book real quick, and then runs back to the school, presumably in a few minutes.
Presumably in a few minutes.
Although why he does that, we're not entirely sure.
Or is he really the other guy?
Or maybe he was
the guy
the other
waiting
guy.
for the cars. Yeah, that was kind of confusing. Yeah, that scene didn't make that.
I kind of suspect it was like an outtake that they just decided like, well, we got to use this footage somewhere.
So let's just throw it in. Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of nods to it. I thought that there was in an earlier version of it, I thought that there was a closer scene of my father, like looking behind the camera, in addition to the scene in the council chamber. But actually, it was somebody else. The videotape was so grainy that it almost looked like him. But actually, in the new version, it's not. It's the manager guy. It's not him.
Yeah.
So it's not him. But it's somebody else.
But what was interesting was I hadn't remembered that he actually had a line of dialogue. You could hear him speaking in the movie. During the council scene, there's like the five of them sitting at the table, and he's the one addressing the people. And he's just saying something about ratifications or how this will affect the populace. And then there's a closer shot of him where he does react along with the other guys.
And he jumps out of his chair.
What was funny there too was speaking of continuity, jump cut. He jumps out of his chair, and then we pan back, and he's still sitting. So they really did that take several times.
And what was Mayor Joe House wearing? What was that weird 70s groovy outfit? Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Even for 1976, man. Ice cream suit or something. I don't know. and several, I don't know if they addressed it in the story, but there were some reviews of the movie on IMDb and some other places. Not very many, though. And really, Red Letter Media should watch this movie. It should be a best of the worst.
Yeah, actually. And it would be, because it's awesome.
But yeah, they wouldn't get the in-jokes.
No.
But it would be interesting to have them. They've done a new one recently. But it's just funny. But
it's all right, we can edit any.
But yeah, there was a scene in the movie where the class clowns go into the parking lot, and they're laughing their heads off about like wanting to sneak up the town and whatever, which is funny, and they're smoking.
Oh yeah.
And like smoking a cigarette is not going to make you laugh like crazy, but smoking something else is going to do that. And that's why they're shocked and they're trying to like put it away. They don't say what it is, but it's clearly supposed to be a reefer.
I don't know. It's kind of an innocent movie too.
That they didn't say. So maybe it was
although they would not get away with showing teenagers spiking punch with vodka these days.
No, they showed that too. So.
With no negative consequences. It's just sort of an offhand joke in the movie.
So yeah, they got a little excited there.
But yeah.
Yeah, the vodka. Spiking the punch. And they had the mayor's daughter getting kidnapped by the monster and taken to
Oh, yeah. Up to the 36th tower. Which was a surprisingly ambitious kind of action sequence.
Yeah, and they had a bunch of cameos. Was it David Freese? Or the Mr. Freese? Or one of the Freese, the guy, the narrator.
Oh, Paul Freese.
Paul Freese was a famous movie narrator from that time period.
Yeah, you might remember him from a lot of Disney attractions.
Disney attractions, yeah.
Usually as a narrator.
Yeah, he was like the Lincoln exhibit and all that stuff.
I think he was one of the Haunted Mansion voices.
Haunted Mansion.
So it was a hoot. I don't know how they managed to get him involved, but they got him to do the final couple lines of narration, which is hilarious.
It was, and they also got the horror host that predated John Stanley, the horror host that was there when we were, or I was little and you were not yet watching it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen
John
it yet.
Stanley was the previous, the guy after the other guy. It was the guy with the skull with the bloody candle. That was the guy that turns around and says, "What you need is the Odorola." That was the guy before John Stanley. That was a creature features guy. He got to be in the movie. And he's like chewing scenery. He's like...
Oh, yeah, he was having a blast. It was funny, in the director's cut, though, they added a couple of, like, little flash thing, like a Swedish flag in the background and, like, a certificate on the wall that was clearly, like, way too crisp and clean to have been shot back in the 70s on 16 millimeter.
What they were doing. The Swedish... And what's hilarious is they're going to go out and they're going to send it to us from Washington by jet. They immediately cut to a Cessna prop plane going beep, 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 beep.
I guess they couldn't get onto the tarmac to film an actual jet.
That doesn't look like a jet.
That's part of the charm of the movie.
And the camera was a model. The helicopter was a model. But yeah.
Oh, you should talk about the Cozy Cafe.
Oh, the Cozy Kitchen.
Or Cozy Kitchen.
They made it look like the Cozy Kitchen and the other one were right across from each other. They're not. But they made it look like they were. The bar. What's the bar's name? The bar.
Oh, the Campbell or
Campbell's
something.
Corner.
Campbell's Corner.
Campbell's Corner. The bottom floor was completely gutted out since then, and they had rebuilt the bottom part, but left the pillars and the roof. And it's now an Indian restaurant. And in the video thing, you can see that. The Cozy Kitchen is completely gone, and I joked in the commentary, because I went back to I would Google mapped, and I went back and I looked at the places. And I said, yeah, I guess the monster destroyed the Cozy Kitchen, because it's not there anymore. But yeah, it's gone.
And you could have filmed yourself stumbling around in front of it saying, "I need liquor."
Well, I didn't actually go on location. I Google mapped it. But now I am on location.
Yes.
And
you are drinking, well, not really liquor.
No, this is a lemonade. And it's a weird lemonade.
Is that a Palmer?
It's got some funny looking dude on the cover.
Golden Bear. That is a new one on me.
I hope it is booze, because then I'll be like, oh my goodness.
Oh, if you were drinking booze, we would have known about it by now.
Oh my God.
It was funny because the bum in the movie is clearly a very high-functioning alcoholic. He consumes a ridiculous amount of booze, and yet he remains fairly functional.
He's a famous actor from the 70s.
Was he?
Got to be in the movie.
I didn't recognize his name in the credits.
Yeah, so they got an actor to be in it. Also, they had one of the other sound guys, but that I didn't know. I didn't know him at all. My half-brother and half-sisters probably knew of them, because they were at air at that time. And it could be that one of them has a cameo in there. I'm not sure, but it could be. But, yeah, so... Also, they mentioned that this was a 1080 print that apparently apparently this group, company in Texas, which was familiar with the movie, he brought it to them to, like, remaster it. And they said... And they said, well, our normal fee is a certain amount of thousands of dollars or whatever, and he was prepared to pay it. And the guy at the Texas studio, from what I understand, he said, from what they talked about, the guy just liked the film. So he's like, no, I'll do your negative prints for free. I'll just do them, because this is cool. I want to make an archive of this. So he's all, oh, okay. So he made a reprint of it.
Yeah.
Just out of the kindness of his, said,
Yeah.
I like it.
And I think the idea now is to scrape together a few hundred more and make a traveling roadshow digital print of the movie.
Ooh.
And then,
Blu-ray.
maybe get it out there for more people to see, other than just people from Milpitas.
Blueprint.
I'll buy it.
Blu-ray. Let's see. Let's filming you again. I will pause for a yeah. So, how many people were there, do you think? Maybe 200 or so?
They had essentially a full house. The tickets were gone. Within
Couldn't get any other family members.
A week of them going on sale, they were completely sold out. And this wasn't even the 40th anniversary. This is just the 39th, which shows you how much.
And they've been on sale since a couple months. Actually.
Yeah, but that shows you how much love for this movie there is. So yeah, I would say there was at least 200, maybe 250 people, which was quite heartwarming to see, because I was kind of worried that it would be like a half house, and like.
Oh.
But because
they had the guy dressed in the monster
you want to see
suit.
a movie like that with a big crowd of people who's going to really enjoy it, and that's exactly what it was. So that was nice. And the costume was really good.
They redid the costume.
Only thing they couldn't do was in the movie the monster has these sort of segregated like eyes.
Segmented eyes.
Segregated eyes.
Segmented eyes.
Segmented.
Segmented eyes.
Yeah, they're like fly eyes basically, and they glow from behind. And actually, it's a surprisingly good effect in the movie. The sound editing that they did, the director talked a bit about how difficult it is to do good sound editing. And a lot of times when they would cut to a close-up of the monster, they would dub in this really deep, foleyed sort of growl, and the eyes are glowing, and they did a good job of matching the day for night and the backlighting. It is actually a pretty effective monster. Amusing, in concept, but actually they dished out, some actual good monster action on a budget.
Yeah, although the parts where they cut to I didn't mind the adding the growl in there. That was kind of cool, but and they did not add the girl's scream. That's actually her scream. But the horse galloping and whinnying that was a little
weird.
silly.
I don't know why
they just wanted to throw in a foley of.
They thought that it would make it more cartoony or Three Stooges-y or something.
But why? I would have taken that out.
Really need that. The super titles all throughout the director's cut in the lower left corner. Every location and person who shows up gets a little super title saying, "This is this guy, and this is where this was." So
like a subtitle.
Harry Joe, Slobakovich on Old Calaveras Road. That's pretty much exclusively for the Milpitas audience. Nobody else who has any familiarity, outside of Milpitas would get that. So the director's cut is probably best appreciated by native Bay Areans. If you're from anywhere else in the country and you're interested in this movie, I would say probably pick up the 2011 DVD release first,
and then this one.
Sort of watch it as it was done back in the day, and then
it's a print off the tape,
right? And
so
then if you like what you see, then check out the director's cut, which again is more for, I think, the initiated and
it's
and the horse whinnying and stuff.
So like it kind of worked. So some of those streets are near our street or my street, and
the park was
in there. Platt Avenue is a street just right next to the Kal Kat show. That was in there,
and that's another thing too that struck me about the movie that was really awesome. Again, more for locals. It's really a time capsule. When I first saw the movie as a kid, it couldn't have been more than like 7 or 8 years old, so a lot of that stuff wasn't really that dated. But when you watch it now, it
looks really dated.
Later, it's a time capsule of what Milpitas used to look like, and kind of in a lot of ways doesn't. Some of it does. The foothills look the same. A lot of the roads are still in the same place. But like they would show the area over by the mall, and it was empty. When you see that now, you just sort of get used to the idea. It's totally built up and urbanized, and there's Starbucks and everything everywhere. And
there's
you go
like
back
3 of them in this mall.
This movie, and it's like, oh my God, there used to be an actual just like big old empty field here, or a little bit of farmland. Some of the older stuff.
Across
Again,
the street, too.
The Cozy Kitchen.
Which is on Main Street.
Yeah, it was a real treat to see like what that used to look like.
I don't think we ever... Did I ever eat there? I don't think we ever...
I'm pretty sure I never did.
I think it was Mill's Diner. It wasn't Cozy Kitchen.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was probably something else by the time I was old enough to notice.
As the director was mentioning, that was actually kind of an important little gathering place for local politicians and businessmen.
When Dad
So
had
it
been
was
there.
it was a place where a lot of Milpitas decisions
Were
on
made.
high
Ooh.
were made over the lunch counter there. So it was cool.
And then Mills and stuff, yeah. So
But-
Mills is still around.
Are they?
Mills is still around. I think, yeah, they're over by the new good. They moved the Goodwill over by the
Okay.
Mills Diner's still around. And you can go to the site of the Campbell's Corner, but it's an Indian restaurant.
Yeah.
You can just go in there, I
It
guess.
doesn't have giant footprints and exploding bits coming out of it.
No, we can go visit the site of the footprint later, I guess. Well, it's not there anymore. It's somebody else's house. They would freak out or be in the driveway.
Probably.
Oh, this is where the movie was filmed. They'd be like, what? Get out of here.
I'm willing to bet a lot of the people whose houses were in that opening sequence in the movie have no idea their house was ever even in a movie. Which would be something, wouldn't it? You're just watching an old monster movie and you suddenly realize that's like on your street and that's your house.
Yeah, I'm sure the people that now have Joe House's house have no idea.
No, yeah.
Or the people that have the other houses. The master's house or the boyfriend's house or whatever.
But yeah, it was a treat to like sort of feel like you're stepping back in time. It's one of the ways you know you're getting older is when you start having not only nostalgia, but you look back at stuff from when you were a kid and realize like, wow, that.
But we were
world is
really little,
gone
like
now.
because '76, you were
I was 2.
2. I was 5.
And and by the time I saw the movie, you know, it was like maybe 7 or 8 years after the movie had been released.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so far gone that it looked all that dated. I mean, when you watch it now, like one of the things I loved was one of the front doors of one of the houses had that yellow glass with the little concentric rings in it that only existed in the 70s. So it would be considered like hideously tacky now, but everybody had that back then, along with like
We kept our
sun
70s lamp.
Yeah,
We still have that.
I'm thinking that style is ripe for a comeback. Let's get the ball rolling, people. Bring 70s
And shag rugs,
ugliness
man.
back. Yes, it's so ugly, it's beautiful. Like John Waters should be all over this.
Yeah,
Weird,
so
ugly stripes, avocado green.
oh my, the outfit on Joe House. Oh my God. but yeah, it's like it's funny that like it's weird. Like the high schoolers in that were basically old enough to be my parents.
Anyway, so closing thoughts on the Milpitas
Yeah.
Monster.
Well, yeah, it was a lot of fun going to the thing and going to the movie. You get to see it, and this is the penultimate. Planning this whole thing way back, you know, and they have too, you know, and we were going to go there and be at this thing, and we did. And yes, unlike television shows and real TV, sometimes they forget the plot points that they. No, it was completely free. We went there and we had the camera, and it's the only footage you'll probably get of footage. We did not film in the actual movie when it was playing, but I actually went up and down the aisle in the Century Theater. We got to see the movie. I had already seen the director's cut. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see, you know, I cheated, so I watched it. I got to see but I also wanted to see it. My mother wanted to see what the scene with the dad was, and she told one of her friends about it and all this stuff, and they wanted to go, and Martha didn't get tickets in time, so they didn't end up going at all.
But there may be a second showing in November.
There may be a second showing in November, so they can still get tickets.
And it sounds like next year they're going to try and do 4 screenings.
And next year they'll do 4 screenings, and it'll go everywhere. So yeah, but this was the special one because they had all of the hosts there. Robert Burrell's website. Here you can.
Burrill.
Burrill on YouTube. And also his fascinating little video on that photographer lady that he mentioned. I forget what her name is, but
you can go look it up.
I can look it up. And yes, so there we go.